You're listening to the BackPorchTalk Podcast. Danny and Jason had many discussions and debates on the back porch while making pivotal investment moves with assets. That's right, with trading cards. They welcome you to the back porch and right into those discussions about current sports news with a fresh and unique twist. So come on and join us. Welcome to the BackPorchTalk Podcast. I'm your co-host, Jason.
Your co-host, Danny.
Fans, we got a full show for you today. NBA playoffs. The NBA is fantastic. Formula One and a little Kentucky Derby. But first, Danny, right into the NBA playoffs and where, man, a whole lot has happened. Last night, Knicks Celtics in game one of their series goes into overtime where the Knicks prevail 108-105. The only reason why I really peeked at this game, I want to see what the Knicks were going to do, how they were going to respond based upon the matchup throughout the regular season and where they just couldn't compete against the Celtics. That's the only reason why I watched, not because of the Celtics and them defending their title. I cannot stand the Celtics offense. Can't stand it. And last night was indicative of why I can't stand their offense, man. They shoot way too many threes. Are you kidding me? They missed, 45 threes? Are you kidding me? Who wins a championship like that? Nobody. And I think last year they didn't shoot the ball well in the finals. I think they really took the ball in a little bit more in the finals. Pathetic, man. 15 for 60 from three-point land, a measly 25%. And granted, yeah, you probably won't be broke all the time like that. But why even put yourself in that position? The Celtics are going to continue to shoot their threes because that's in their DNA now. That's who they are. But I don't have to watch it. I choose not to watch that, man. That is like the epitome of just terrible basketball, in my opinion. And my hope is if the Celtics advance this round, if they advance in the finals, my hope is that they lose in the finals. My hope is that they don't even make it to the finals because I don't want to watch that type of basketball. I'd rather see a Golden State Warriors type offense and where there's movement. Just give me some kind of movement on offense. Any type of movement. I was fascinated with the triangle offense. I was able to actually see the triangle in full action and where you see how the cutting happens. You see just the jazz of the game, the flow of the game. The Golden State Warriors and their offense, the movement of the bodies, hot potato with the basketball. You can get to a point A to point B quicker with a pass than you can by running, so the ball does not stick. That's the type of basketball I like. And it's easy for the defense, in my opinion, just running from three-point line to three-point line. So Knicks prevail 108-105 behind Brunson and Nobi, and where, man, they go bonkers, man. You had 29 by Anunoby and then 29 by Brunson. Got to give a lot of props to Bridges, who defensively was in the game. Offensively, he had a bad night. 3 for 13 from the field, but 8 points. But man, defensively, he stepped up. What say you, Danny, about the Knicks Celtics series?
Jay, every year the Celtics have one of these games where they, at home, for whatever reason, either the first game or second game, where they just blow the game. And last night they're up 20. I think that Kristaps Porzingis, with him leaving the game, impacted them, where Al Horford had to pick up some of that slack. But for them to have Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum not take it to the basket to break that up, like even in overtime, you go to OT, and they still default to the 3-point shot, analytics. So I'm not sure if it's the analytics behind it. That was the epitome of why a lot of people didn't want to watch the NBA this year with the chucking up the threes, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They had plenty of opportunities. Could have took it down low, got to the free throw line, played inside the 3-point lines, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't. And they lost. So now game 2, we'll be looking for the adjustments. Will Porzingis be back? What does that look like? But from the Knicks standpoint, man, they're gritty. They hung in there, coming off a tough series against Detroit. They're tired. They're banged up, especially Brunson.
Yeah.
And they played well, man. And this is one of the reasons I think the Knicks did what they did by getting Bridges in the offseason for this series, waiting for Boston. The moves they made in the offseason were for this series. So now we'll see if Boston can win game 2. But the Knicks aren't going to go out without a fight. I think, if anything, they may wear it down because of the style of play and the amount of minutes Thibodeau plays them. But if Boston's going to give them a reprieve on defense and just shoot threes, then they may be okay. So this is the beauty of the playoffs, to see the adjustments and what happens game to game. So we'll see what happens in game 2 in Boston.
And here's my thing, Danny. I think it would have been great to see New York with an extra day of rest. That's not going to be the case going into game 2. They play again on Wednesday, so just a day in between. But then they have a couple of days in between game 2 and 3 when they go back to New York. So that's going to be an opportunity to give them a little rest. On another front, we had an excellent game later that night, man. You had the likes of the Denver Nuggets going against the OKC Thunder in game 1 of their series. Danny, listen, at halftime, I kind of turned away. It was kind of late for me. Halftime, I turned it away. Thunder they were rolling. Woke up this morning, saw the highlights. I was like, say what? The Denver Nuggets prevailed 121-119, man. You kidding me? Oh, man, I was so hurt. I was like, golly.
Yep.
And Aaron Gordon again, man, hits the game winner, game-winning 3. Just an amazing, what appeared to be a game in the second half. You had the Joker, man, 42 points. You kidding me? 22 rebounds, 6 assists. I saw a stat that I think only 5 players in NBA history have done that. He was just putting up some historic numbers. Aaron Gordon has 22 points, 14 rebounds. Michael Porter Jr. didn't really do a whole lot. Only played 24 minutes, only 2 points. I think that was a good switch out. Putting Porter Jr. on the bench, he just didn't have it. Gotta give kudos to the coach there. Westbrook off the bench had a great game, 18 points in 30 minutes. Yeah, man, the Denver Nuggets escape with a victory in game 1. Chet Holmgren, 12 points, 6 rebounds. Shea, the MVP of the league, 33 points, 10 rebounds. Caruso had 20 points. This all around game from the team of the OKC Thunder, but it just wasn't enough, man. Danny, what do you say about this Denver Nuggets OKC Thunder series?
Another game where Denver's coming off a hard-fought series against the Clippers, where they didn't get any rest. They had a day turnaround to get to Oklahoma City. And for them to come back the way they did, I was watching this game, and in the fourth quarter, they were down like 10 or 12. And it just didn't look like they had it, because every time they made a run, OKC would, hold them off. But Chet Holmgren had a bad sequence at the end of that game because he missed those 2 free throws that more or less could have sealed the game. And then he didn't close out on Aaron Gordon on that 3. OKC has to be careful, man. Denver, I know all the adversity, and we talked about this before the playoffs even started, about Malone getting fired right before this playoff starting. What kind of mindset would Denver be in? And they look locked in. After that whole Aaron Gordon dunk from the Clippers series, I think from that moment on, that's propelled them to play the way they have. And lost in all this, like you mentioned, Jay, Jokic went up 42 and 22. Because everyone was talking about, Gordon hitting the shot. I watched the game and it was a quiet 42-22. Like once you saw the end and final stats, like dang. So Oklahoma City better be careful here. They have to win game 2.
Yes, I agree.
If they lose game 2,
it's tough. It's gonna be tough sled for them.
Yes. Yeah. So they have to win game 2. Boston, I'm not as worried if they were to drop game 2. I still think they have enough to come back and beat the Knicks. But Oklahoma City, with Jokic being on their side, Jamal Murray, these dudes have been here. This team is battle tested, and that's the team you do not want to let them have some confidence.
Agreed there. And as you mentioned the Clippers, Danny, obviously Denver won that series, but man, the Clippers again in game 7 get blown out. Now, Denver won 120-101, and this was back on Saturday. They won, but I think it was really, in my opinion, a larger margin. Everybody's talking about where was James Harden. And you got to give kudos to James Harden for the regular season. The number of games that he played, his averages, etc. It just always seems to be something in the playoffs with James Harden, especially when it comes to game 7. So this was no different. Kawhi Leonard showed up 22 points quietly. Just wasn't enough. Wasn't enough force from the Clippers. I don't know what they're going to do in the offseason. Whatever they do, they're going to have to do something to improve their team. If they stand pat with this team, same results are going to happen. We'll see what happens there. And to note here, Danny, real quickly, obviously Golden State, they prevailed in their game 7 against the Rockets, the young Rockets team. Buddy Hield saved the Warriors. Had 33 points, did his thing, especially in the first half when they were doubling on Steph. Being aggressive with his Steph, leaving Buddy Hield wide open. And next thing you know, 33 points later, in a game 7 victory later, Golden State moves on to face the Timberwolves, which happens tonight in game 1. What say you, Danny, about the Western Conference playoffs?
So Buddy Hield, man, he shows these flashes. And Jay, this has been someone I've touted ever since. I thought the Bucks should have selected him back in the draft when he came out because he has this in him. For whatever reason, man, because you look at the game before, he didn't do anything. He was a ghost. And for him to come out and do what he saved the Warriors season right there. To at least advance to the next round. But he has this in him. He hit, 9 threes? I think he was 9 for 11. And from the Rockets standpoint, it's the rumors of KD or I don't know, man. I don't know. I think they're built the way they're built. I thought they should have won this series. And the way that I just don't know if KD is someone you want to bring in instead of just riding with the crew. And they have a lot of good draft picks, kind of like OKC is doing right now, right? OKC they brought in Hardenstein and whatever, but no one major. Let your homegrown talent kind of grow together and, and bring in free agents around them, but nothing crazy. So I hope they don't do anything wild, but you never know. And then, tonight with that Warriors Timberwolves, man, this is another one. The Warriors coming off, a day rest, being older, with Draymond, Curry, and Jimmy Butler. And Jimmy Butler, being injured, Curry, his thumb. What are they going to look like tonight? So there's a lot of things, man. I'm looking forward to this game. And will Gobert, have a game like he did to cap off the Lakers season, with that 27-24 game he had. So this one I'm definitely looking forward to.
And just to mention real quickly, Pacers beat the Cavaliers 121-112, and where Halliburton has 22 points, 13 assists. Mitchell for the Cavs had 33 points. Garland did not play because of a toe injury. Obviously, they were missing him tremendously. So hopefully he can come back for game 2. This is going to be an interesting series. I think without Garland, it's really going to be interesting here. But I thought for sure Cleveland would prevail in this series. I'm still picking Cleveland. Possibly before I was thinking maybe 6 games. This could go 7 games. But I'm still picking the Cavaliers with the hopes of Garland returning. What say you, Danny, about Pacers-Cavaliers series?
And it looks like Mobley may be questionable too, Jay, for this one tonight. So if they don't have both of them, that's not good. And the Pacers are riding a high right now.
Yeah, they are.
If they don't have Mobley and Garland, this is going to be tough sledding for them too. So they need that bench to come in and pick up some of the slack for tonight. Because this is one I see too, that this is a must win for Cleveland tonight.
Mm-hmm. And Danny, right into Formula One, and where, oh boy, Formula One was on U.S. soil down in Miami. And for the Miami Grand Prix, Oscar Piastri wins again. I want to say this is Oscar's 3rd or 4th victory in a row. For McLaren, Lando Norris comes in 2nd, followed by George Russell in Mercedes for 3rd. This particular Grand Prix had a sprint, a name I think we all need to look out for, and he's a rookie for Mercedes. Antonelli, Kimi Antonelli, an Italian who, man, I think you need to watch out for him. Not this season, he's a rookie, but I see him in a couple of seasons really starting to take things over. And Mercedes, I think, have found something in their car. As of right now, McLaren's going to take this Constructors' Cup, Danny. I don't see any team really get with McLaren. Right now it's 246 to 141, followed by Mercedes, who's in 2nd. Red Bull is in 3rd with 105. Ferrari's in 4th with 94. So those are going to be your top 4 battling it out. I do see Ferrari eventually overtaking Red Bull in the Constructors' Cup. But I think McLaren and Mercedes are pretty much locked down in 1 and 2. But I think McLaren is going to win this season. I thought I saw something where the grand total of attendance for Miami was 265,000, I want to say, for the weekend. And they have actually signed the contract so that way Formula One could be in Miami until 2041. This brings a lot of money into the Miami area. I saw some ridiculous numbers, how much revenue was generated because of the Grand Prix. Through 2041, I think it was a good contract to sign. The popularity of Formula One is going to increase even more with the Formula One movie over this summer. And I think that's not going to be the only movie over the next few years for Formula One. I can see this possibly being a few more movies going down the line here. And again, actually, an estimate of 275,000 fans attended over 3 days. So that's the Grand Prix, Danny. What say you about Formula One Miami Grand Prix?
McLaren did it again, Jay.
Yep.
Just total control. And Russell. It's been Piastri, Norris, Russell, and Verstappen. There was a point in the race where the announcers were talking about with Ferrari, where they had Hamilton hanging behind for, what was it, 3-4 laps?
Man.
And you could tell.
Behind Charles Leclerc. Yeah.
Yeah. The announcer was like, what are they doing?
Ferrari's being Ferrari.
So
they're Ferrari.
Yes.
Their strategy sucked.
It's like
you had Lewis Hamilton on medium tires.
Yep.
Charles Leclerc on hard tires.
Yes.
They weren't that far away from Antonelli and Mercedes.
Yes.
So, technically speaking, switch positions, let Hamilton go after Antonelli. Had he done that in the 3 laps there, Lewis Hamilton could have caught Antonelli.
Yep. So that right there, man, that kind of sums up the season so far for Ferrari.
Yeah.
It's just one blunder after another where that's impacting their team and the Constructors' Cup and all that. But all in all, great venue with Miami. I think one thing from a planning perspective, with the Derby being this past weekend too, if they can offset that somehow, I know it's hard to say because, you're looking in advance, but because that may have increased the attendance even more because the Derby was Saturday night. They ran that Saturday night. And you have, like you said, Formula One's over the whole weekend too, over the same weekend. McLaren just dominated again.
And speaking of the Kentucky Derby, Danny, sovereignty defeats the favorite journalism. One thing about the Kentucky Derby, you're going to get a lot of fans to attend. And this was no different, man. It was a muddy race, a lot of rain prior to, the actual race itself. But people going to come out. There were reports that it was like 147,000 or so fans that attended the Kentucky Derby. That's a lot for one day. But the pomp and circumstance, the outfits, the whole nine, I mean, just, does it. So kudos to Sovereignty for winning. And then again, followed by the favorite journalism. What say you, Danny, about the Kentucky Derby?
Yeah, Jay, with the conditions being muddy, you never know how it's going to impact the horses. And both journalism and Sovereignty were behind.
Mm-hmm.
And then in that last corner, they took off. And journalism was winning for a hot second. But then Sovereignty at the end pulled out, won the race. So it was a great race from that standpoint. And that amount of people being at the Derby, and then that amount of people being at Formula One, and that, if you offset it by a week, it could drive the numbers both up in both events because they're both major events. So another great race, and look forward to seeing. It sounds like Sovereignty may not race in the Preakness, if I read that correctly. So we'll see who can take the next part of the Triple Crown.
Thank you for joining us at BackPorchTalk Podcast. You can also join us on Twitter by tweeting us at @back_podcast. For more information, you can go to our website, which is BackPorchTalkPodcast.com. You can also email us at BackPorchTalkPodcast@gmail.com. Again, thank you for joining us, and remember that there's enough hate in the world, so go ahead and spread a little love.